All right, let's get straight into it. A single KDP coloring book in this niche is making over $166,000 per year, and the competition is still surprisingly low. So what is this niche? Well, it's the kawaii coloring book, and more specifically, the creepy kawaii coloring book. Now, if you've never heard of it, think cute cartoon-style characters, except with a dark, eerie twist, smiling ghosts, pastel zombies, adorable creatures with sharp teeth. It's weird, it's unique, and most importantly, it sells. Now, if this is your first time here, my name is Jeff, and this channel is all about becoming self-sufficient when it comes to making money online. So if this sounds like you, feel free to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. With that being said, let's get right into it. Now, I know a lot of people hesitate to get into coloring books because they think the market is oversaturated, but that's not true. KDP is all about niches. The money isn't in generic books, it's in finding specific underserved markets like this one. Right now, sellers in this space are making hundreds, even thousands per month from just a single book. One of the top sellers is making over $400 per day. That's nearly $14,000 per month, which is over $166,000 per year, all coming from one single book. Think about making dozens of books and having just a few take off. This is the power of KDP and why so many are joining this way of earning money online and making passive income. So in this video, I'm gonna break it all down for you. The niche, why it works, and why there's still room for new books, what the top selling books look like so you know what to create, and the fastest way to make a high quality coloring book in this niche, even if you have no experience whatsoever. KDP is one of the easiest ways to build a real passive income stream, but most people waste time making books that don't sell. If you want to do this the right way and start making money, pay close attention. With that being said, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. All right, so here I am on Amazon and I'm looking at the creepy kawaii coloring book niche. And if we take a scroll down the first page, we can see some of these books selling pretty well. Now keep in mind, anything below 300,000 is generally a book selling pretty well. So I see one already right here ranked at 8,000. If we go and we have a bestseller right here, 776, 142,000, 256,000. And if we keep scrolling down, we're gonna see more books just littered here that are all selling well. 200,000, 118,000, 300,000. And we have one here, 173,000, which is at the end of the first page. But if we take a scroll back up to the top of the page, the first thing that I look for has to do with the competition. And so what I look for are right here, the total results. And right here, we see 879. Now, when looking at competition, there's no point putting a book up on Amazon in an overly competitive niche because the chances of it being seen is just going to be a little bit harder. So what I'm looking for are search results that have about 1,000 or less, because this is going to tell me that the competition is not too competitive, which means that there's a chance for your book to be seen on the first or second page of Amazon, so it can be seen and it can be sold. So with the total results being 879, we know the competition is not too competitive here. I was pretty surprised when I found out about this because I know this niche has been around for a long time. People have made books in this niche. I've made a book in this niche, but Amazon says total results 879. So that's below the 1,000 or so that I'm looking for, which tells me that the competition is not too competitive and there's still going to be a decent chance here at getting ranked on the first or second page of Amazon. So your book can be seen and it can be sold. Now, a couple other things here. The exact match, 16 out of 48, which basically means how many books are using this exact keyword in their book's title. And then how many books are independently published, meaning how many books are KDP books. 47 out of 48 on the first page. The average bestsellers rank is pretty decent at 511,000, and the average review, 370. So I'm seeing a mix of older books and maybe some newer books in here, and the average price of $7.84. Now, typically, at least for me, when I make a coloring book, I like to price it no less than $7.99. Now that we know competition is low, the next thing that I look for has to do with demand. Now, there's no point putting a book up on Amazon if no one is looking for that type of book. So in order to judge demand, I'm looking for 3 or more KDP books that all have a bestsellers rank of 300,000 or below, because that tells me that these books are selling consistently right now, which means that there's some sort of demand here. So if we take a scroll down the first page, we saw a couple of those books already, but let's take a deeper look. Now, I'm going to skip all of these sponsored products because this is just where publishers are paying to kind of boost their books rankings. So the first one that's not a sponsored product is this one again, this creepy kawaii bold and easy coloring book. This one under publisher, it says independently published, which is exactly what we're looking for. And with the bestsellers rank of 8,522, this is one book showing demand. Now, if we look at that next book, which is the creepy kawaii pastel goth coloring book, this is independently published with a bestsellers rank of 41,000. So this is book number 2 that's showing demand. And then we have this bestseller creepy cutie coloring book, independently published with a bestsellers rank at an astonishing 776. So that's already 3 books that show demand, but I like to look through the entire first page just to gauge how popular this niche is. So the next book, creepy kawaii pastel goth coloring book, ranked at 142,000, and the one right next to it, 256,000. Now, if we take a scroll down more, I'm going to skip this section, this more coloring books for grown-ups, because this is not really part of the search rankings. So the next one is right here. Once again, skip the sponsored products. And then we have this one, adorable, creepy coloring book, ranked at 24,000. So we see a lot of books selling very well. And let's just blitz through the first page, 214,000. And look at this, $22.95 for this book, 118,000, 328,000, 33,000, 91,000, 229,000, 111,000, 381,000, 74,000, 192,000, 361,000. This one right here, bestseller, just recently came out, very demure, very spooky, cute and easy coloring book, ranked at 8,055. We have another one at 272,000. This one's ranked at 111,000, 342,000, 393,000, 272,000, and 173,000 finishes the rest of the first page. So we see a ton of books here doing very well. So if you land on the first page of Amazon, you can be sure to know that your book is probably going to be seen and is probably gonna be sold. Now, there's one more thing that I like to look at is gonna be this niche score that's provided by Titan's Quick View. Now, when it comes to the niche score, which I basically use to validate the demand and the competition part of my research, I'm looking for a score of at least 50. So with the niche score being 52, above that 50 that I look for, and the demand being high, the competition being low, this is basically pointing me in the direction that there is potential here for profits. And so the next part is really to look at some of these books, the interiors, what they're doing right, and see if we can replicate it on our own coloring book. Now, if we take a look at this one, this is the creepy cutie coloring book for adults and teens featuring goth, kawaii, and spooky cute creatures of all kinds and many more. This one has the #1 bestsellers badge, priced at $7.99. And to give you an idea, if we use this Amazon KDP royalty calculator, I put the price in here and the page count, and we can see the standard royalty is $2.64 for every book sold, with the extended distribution being $1.05. And you can go ahead and play around with this tool, with this slider here. You can kind of see how much you get paid at $10, $9, $8. And so you can also see the pie breakdown right here of where the actual costs go with that book price. So we see $2.15 go to printing costs, $3.20 go straight to Amazon, and $2.65 go towards the publisher at an $8 price point. Now, if we take a scroll, see if there's any A+ content, this is where publishers can add more information about their listing, put some more interior so that customers can see exactly what the book looks like. And so here's 4 interiors of this book, and then a couple more right here. So it gives us an idea of how to create this book, because we know this book is selling very, very well. Now, if we take a look at that bestsellers rank of 776, we can see that's 175 book sales per day, which is over 5,000 estimated book sales per month. If we add that royalty calculator, we can see that's over $400 per day in estimated royalties and over $13,000 per month in estimated royalties. Now, if we take a look at this book, this is the creepy kawaii bold and easy coloring book. Cute and spooky pastel goth simple coloring pages for adults and teens. This one has 50 images in the interior, which equate to 100 pages in total length, priced at $8.15 and a 4.8 out of 5 rating. 85% is a 5-star. Now, if we go to the A+ content, we can see the interiors. This is a little bit more simple. This is something that we could actually try to create or recreate because it's not as complicated as that previous book. Now, if we take a look at that bestsellers rank of 8,522, we can see an estimated royalties that's $76 per day and over $2,300 every single month, all coming from this one single book. Now, if we take a look at one more book, this is the adorable creepy coloring book with spooky gothic cute kawaii creature monsters and animals for adults and teens. And this one's going to be your 8.5 by 11 inch coloring book as opposed to the previous one, which was an 8.5 by 8.5 inch coloring book. This one is 101 pages, so maybe 45 to 50 pages of coloring. This has 38 one-of-a-kind creatures to color and priced at $7.90. If we look at the review, 4.7 rating, 84% is a 5-star. So obviously the interiors are doing quite well. Now let's go look at the A+ content. And this is what it looks like. So this one has a little bit more grayscaling. This one's going to be a little bit more advanced, but this one also looks like it came from AI. So this is a good sign for publishers like you and I, because if this book is selling well, if we can recreate a similar type of book, then maybe it could also do well. Now, if we take a look at that bestsellers rank, this one's at 24,658. We can see estimated royalties to be about $31 per day and almost $1,000 per month, all coming from a single book that looks like it was AI generated. Now, to create this interior, I'm going to use Kittl, which is a design tool that makes creating coloring books pretty simple. Let me show you how it's done. So first things first, I'm going to click on new project right here. It's going to take me to a new screen and it's going to ask for some information here. Now, what I want to do is I want to change the size right here, unit, to inches. And for this book, typically 8.5 by 11 inches, or if you're making the square version, that's 8.5 by 8.5 inches. But let's go ahead and do 8.5 by 11 inches for this book. And also one thing to make sure is that this DPI is set at 300 because this is what Amazon KDP wants, and then hit create. Now you're going to be presented with what they call an artboard. You can just think of this as sheets or pages. So the first artboard is going to be basically where that first page of that book is. And so typically you're going to put a book belongs to page as your first page. So in order to do that, let's go to the left-hand side, click on this T for text, and then add a headline, and then just type in this book belongs to. Now I want to fix this real quick. And then now what we want to do is we want to make this one line. So I'm going to stretch it out just like this, resize it, make it a little bit smaller than that, and then put it somewhere in the middle, like maybe like that. And now what I want to do, since it's a coloring book, I like to turn any kind of font into a coloring element. And so with Kittl, what you want to do is you want to click here on border, and this is going to allow you to basically tweak the border. Now, in order to actually show the border, you're gonna have to go to color up here and make this the same color as the background, which is typically white. And so once you do that, you can play around with the border weight, and then you can kind of see that it turns into a coloring element. Now you can also change the text. So instead of Roboto, we can choose any kind of text. Cherry Bomb is a good one. Chico is a good one, but let's go ahead and stick with Cherry Bomb. And I'm gonna add a little bit more border weight here. And then what we want to do is go to elements and then add a line. So look for basic shapes and look for this line right here. Put it on the bottom just like that. We can stretch it out. In order to do that, we need to zoom in. And then we're going to go ahead and make this smaller and put it right there. Then I'm going to highlight it and just center it. Now we have our first page, this book belongs to. Now we want to add another page. So in order to add a page, go and click on Artboard up here and look for this plus sign. It's going to give you a new artboard. Now, if you zoom out, you can see that it's right here, right next to Artboard 1. So this becomes the second page. Now, typically you don't want to put anything on the second page or basically the backside of anything that is going to be colored in. So what you want to do is you want to add another artboard. Now this is page 3. If I zoom out, you can kind of see what I'm saying here. Now every odd page, so in this case 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on, is going to be a coloring page. So this is where we're going to put our images. Now in order to add an image, you can go over here to the left hand side and click right here where it says Kittl AI and click on image generator. Now with image generator, you can go ahead and describe your image. You can choose your aspect ratio and then you can choose your mode, whether it's private or public. If you choose private, no one's going to be able to see your creation or be able to use it. If you choose public, then obviously people can see it. Now you can also click here where you can browse all of the other images that were generated. You can go to vector, clip art, whatever you want. And you can type in something like kawaii and see what comes up. And you can kind of see if there's a style here that you like. You can go ahead and click the eye and you can see the actual prompt. So you can go ahead and copy the prompt, tweak the prompt however you want. You can also see the style used. In this case, this is line art. So like it says right here, you can use the prompt, or you can even add this image if you wanted to use this, but we're gonna go ahead and generate our own images. So if we go back to Kiddle AI, if we go ahead and type in creepy, spooky, cute, kawaii monsters, and then we have our image styles. So there's a bunch of styles here. Now for a coloring page, we really wanna stick to black and white, which is this section right here. You could also use this kawaii icon, and I'm going to show you how to do this real quick. So let me go ahead and generate this image. It's going to be a full color image, but I'm going to show you how to take the color out if this is an image that you want to use. Now here's the image, and it looks pretty good, but it's full color, so we can't really use it. So in order to actually turn this into a full black and white coloring image, what you need to do is go to the right hand side and click vectorize right here and vectorize this into maybe 2 colors or maybe 3 colors or maybe 4 colors, and then just hit vectorize. You can play around with the vector and it's going to give you 4 layers of colors that you can go ahead and alter and change. So as you can see, it's been vectorized. Now we can play around with the colors. So this one, we're going to want black. The next one, which is purple, we're going to want to turn this white. This color green, we're going to want to turn this white. And then this one, if we look at this, that's the background. So turn that white. And now we turned a full color image into a complete black and white. So this is one way to go about this. Now we're going to go ahead and put this on this page right here. And then we're going to go ahead and add an artboard. So click on artboard, add a new artboard, and then add another one because this is going to be the backside to this page. So we're going to want to put our next image right here on artboard number 5. Go back to Kiddle AI. You can generate it again, or you can go back. You can change this into what they have here, which is coloring book. And then you can go ahead and try this prompt, or you can try another prompt. Let's see what it looks like using this vector style. Now, as you can see, this is what it came out with. If I go ahead and make this bigger, you can see there are some here that we could use, but this one's probably not a good idea. And I really want to stick to 1 image per page. So if the image that it generates is not something that you like, you can always just regenerate, or you can go back and fix the prompt, tweak it some more. And so with this prompt, I kind of tweaked it to this. I added minimal, lots of white space to color. So let's see what it generates. So here's the image right here. Looks pretty good. We can go ahead and just resize it. And then we can go ahead and create the next page. So go ahead and add another artboard and then add another one after that. Artboard number 7. Now I actually did this ahead of time for this video. And as you can see, all of the images that I generated right here. Now, these are the ones that we're going to use. These are single ones right here that we're going to be able to put into our coloring pages. Now, sometimes you're going to come out with these ones right here that aren't going to be the best, and that's okay. Just regenerate and you can come up with something better. And oftentimes, if you regenerate with the same prompt, you'll get something different like this right here on the left-hand side, which is what we want. We just want single images. So what I started to do is I started to put them in their own artboard right here, because I'm going to go ahead and export all of these images so I can put them in the other project to finish off this coloring book. But I just wanted to show you all of the images that I generated and what I'm going to use for in this coloring book. As you can see, this is the same exact prompt over and over, and it's going to generate a different image every single time, but it's going to keep within the same theme, which is what I wanted, which is what I like. And so this book looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and move this on to the other project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click export all the artboards, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose PNG and put this up to 300 dpi. And then I'm going to remove the background and optimize quality, and then just hit export. Now, if we go back to our project where we're actually creating the book, if I zoom out, you can see this is the book. This is exactly how it's going to look. First page, backside, second page, backside, third page, backside. the next page. Now we want those images. So what we're going to do is go over here to uploads and we're going to choose upload. Okay, so I had to move myself, but we're going to go ahead and upload all of these, hit open. Let me move myself back down here. And it's going to add every single one of those images on our background right here on our workspace. So now we can just go ahead. If I just move it, you can kind of see that they're all stacked on top of each other, but we can just randomize it and just pick one after the other and then just lay them in here. And it's as simple as that. I'm just going to resize it so it fits the page. Let me zoom in. Let's X out of here. Let's go ahead and move this a little bit closer up. And then there you go. Add another artboard and then add another one. And then just do that process with all of these that we just uploaded. And it's as simple as that. Let me go ahead and finish this book. And I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like and then how to actually export this so that you can have the PDF file to be able to upload onto KDP. And then there you go. So if you have any blank pages or artboards left over, what you can do is you can click on the artboard and then delete them from here like that. Or what you can do is if you zoom out, you can go ahead and highlight all of them and just hit backspace or delete, and it'll do exactly that. So if we look at the actual book, you can see every single page and all of the images that I generated using Kittl AI. And I think it looks pretty good. And it was really simple. It was just drag and drop. I didn't really have to do any kind of work. I just had to work on the prompts. But basically the art generator did all of the work. And then there you go. It's as simple as that. Now, typically you're going to want to have anywhere from 30 to 40 images. I only have 21 images, I believe, on here. So I would need 10 to 15 more images. But I just showed you how easy it was. So all I would have to do is just go back to Kittl AI. I could generate it again. I could get another image, and then I can go ahead over here, click on artboard, add an artboard, add another artboard, and then wait for this image to generate, and then plop that onto this artboard. And it's as simple as that. So this one, I move it over here, and I just make it smaller like that. So if I zoom in, you can see exactly what it looks like. There you go. Looks pretty good. Now, in order to save this, all you would have to do is go up here to export, do all artboards, make sure it's 300 DPI, but change this to PDF. And then you want to combine all the artboards into one file. You can also click right here, optimize quality, and then just hit export. And this is what it should look like. So if I scroll down, you can see this book belongs to blank page, and then there's the coloring image. And you can see just how nice the images came out. And I would say this is a very good looking interior. I think it would do well. All we need to do is create a cover for this book and it would be good to go. But this is the full-on interior ready to upload onto KDP. Now, in order to use Kittl AI, you need to buy credits to be able to generate images. So it's going to be 200 credits for $12. You can always top up. And for me, when I was generating images, it was taking out 2 credits per image. So keep that in mind. So 200 credits is probably going to be good for about 100 images, which is more than enough to make 1 or 2 books. Now, if you want to try out Kittl, you can do so for free using the link in my description. You can also use promo code JeffYT for 25% off on all new users. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell, as well as follow me on all my socials at JeffSetLife. With that being said, thanks for watching. Bye for now.